What's going on, YouTube? Thomas L here. With this little indie movie coming out this week called Chew Dust, and with an anime film coming out next month called Wonder Park, since both films feature actor Matthew Broderick, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Matthew Broderick movies. Because Matthew Broderick, he of course started like in the 80s, and then from there, he been in some pretty other good stuff over the years. So with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Broderick movies. All right, coming in at number 10 will be The Freshman. The Freshman is really funny. I mean, it got released in like early 90s, and in it, Matthew Broderick plays a guy named Clark Kellogg, who is robbed moments after arriving in New York. So when he sees the mugger several days later, he confronts him, and so the man promised to return his property and get him a job with his uncle, who's pretty much a mafia boss played by Marlon Brando. I mean, Marlon Brando, he's no stranger to play mafia bosses. I mean, come on, The Godfather is iconic. And, I mean, the chemistry between Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando, I thought was really fun to watch. And this has some pretty funny comedies in it. I mean, who knew that Marlon Brando could do comedy really well? And Brando did comedy well with us. And Matthew Broderick was decent. And the movie. And believe it or not, the movie is actually rated PG. I mean, who knew that a mafia PG movie could actually work? And it worked out pretty well here. And of course, it was directed by Andrew Bergman. That was pretty interesting directing. It also had Penelope Ann Miller in it. It's a pretty good supporting cast. But what really sold this one was the chemistry with Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando. That chemistry was pretty cool. I mean, if you guys never seen The Freshman, definitely check it out. It's a really good one. Coming in at number 9 is a film called Finding Amy. Now, in it, Matthew Broderick, plays a guy named Taylor Peters, who has developed a few vices. Pretty much, he drinks. He's a drug abuse, and he gambles a lot, and so. And pretty much it, like damage his career. So he of course takes sessions with an analyst, only so that his wife, played by Mara Turney, can of course feel he is taking the cure and all. And so then he meets his 20-year-old niece, played by Brittany Snow, who of course has ran away from home to Las Vegas to work as a prostitute. And so he of course, there's Ed Bagley Jr. He's also in this. And I mean, it's a really fun little film. I mean, I really like the chemistry with Matthew Broderick and Brittany Snow. Their chemistry is pretty good. This is a bit of an underrated film. Like, it's not really a movie that really many people have talked about. But it's actually a really decent little film. If you guys never seen Finding Amy, like if it's on Google Play, if it's online or whatever, check it out. It's a really good little gem. Coming in at number 8 is actually more of a guilty pleasure of mine. And that is 1998's Godzilla. I know this movie is completely dumb, but you know what? I completely loved it. I mean, it's pretty much pure 90s action fun. This movie would have been really completely more terrible if it got released today. But back in the days, I thought this movie was really cool. I mean, of course, Godzilla looked a little weird. I mean, never really cared much for Godzilla's look here. But it was still fun, film to watch. I mean, you had Matthew Broderick, Gene Reno, Hank Azaria was in this. Cool cast, and of course, it was directed by Roland Emmerich, who has hits and miss lately. But Godzilla, the 1998 Godzilla, it's not a great movie or anything like that, but it's actually loads of fun. All right, coming in at number 7 is also more of a guilty pleasure of mine, and that would be 1999's Inspector Gadget, where, of course, Matthew Broderick plays the title role of Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget is a childhood classic. It's also pretty fun. There's some really funny jokes in this. Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget was pretty cool to watch. Of course, you had a very young Michelle Trachtenberg in this. You had Jolie Fisher. Some really good cast members were in this show. I mean, if you guys never had a chance to check out the 1999 Inspector Gadget, I say definitely give it a go. Of course, it was a way ahead of its time. I mean, it probably won't hold up as much today as it did back in 1999. But it's still really fun to watch. And too bad Matthew Broderick never really went ahead and returned for a sequel, because there have been sequels to this which actually were pretty terrible. But the first Inspector Gadget is really fun. Although I gotta say, I'm hoping maybe Hollywood or someone will get together, maybe do like a Netflix Inspector Gadget live action show or movie, or I think it's time for a new Inspector Gadget to hit the screen. Anyway, coming in at number 6 is Tower Heist. Now, of course, this is the Brett Ratner directed heist movie where Ben Stiller and workers are trying to rob Alan Alda's building with loads of money in there. And of course, you got Matthew Broderick. I thought was really funny here. He pretty much plays like a Wall Street exec who knows lots about Wall Street and stuff like that. And Matthew Broderick was really funny in his parts. Of course, you had Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, Michael Pena, Alan Alda. Who else was in this? Gabrielle Sibe was in this. Really good cast, and it's completely funny. It's also fun as well. And Broderick, I thought he had some good chemistry with the leads in this. Yeah, I simply love Tower Heist. I actually saw the movie twice when it got released, and it's a really funny film. Definitely check out Tower Heist if you've never seen it, because I think you'll enjoy it. Coming in at number 5 is Election. Now, of course, here, Matthew Broderick pretty much plays Jim McAllister, who's, of course, a well-liked high school governor teacher. And, of course, he can't help but notice that a successful student, Tracy Flick, played by Reese Witherspoon, uses less than ethical tactics to, of course, gets what she wants. So, of course, Tracy pretty much runs for high school president, where Jim pretty much feels that she will be a poor influence on the student body, and of course, convinces Paul, who's like a dimwit but popular student athlete, played by Chris Klein, to run against Tracy. And Election is a classic. It's a 90s classic. I think this got released in 1999 or 1998. It came out in the late 90s. It's really funny. Reese Witherspoon was really good. It was directed by Alexander Payne, who's always great. Yeah, Election, it's a movie that still holds up today, believe it or not. The movie got released in the 90s, and people still knows what Election is, so that's pretty cool. And, of course, Matthew Broderick was good in this shit, and Witherspoon was good. Klein was great. If for whatever reason you never still seen Election, definitely check that one out. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, coming in at number 4 is The Producers. Now, this, of course, teamed Matthew Broderick with Nate Delane, and, of course, is based on the musical, and it's also based on the Gene Wilder classic. The remake of Producers, it's not as good as the original, but I still really love the remake. Matthew Broderick and Nate Delane, those two could sing really well. Of course, you had Will Ferrell in this, Uma Thurman. I mean, this movie has some really darn good music in it. Good performances all around. Yeah, I mean, definitely check out The Producers. It's a really fantastic film. All right, coming in at number 3 is a classic, and that is War Games. Now, this is actually a movie that was ahead of its time. I mean, this movie will literally work if it got, it'll work more if it got released today. I mean, of course, this movie involved computers and all, and of course, now with technology here, with Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff, a movie like this will definitely work in today's society. And War Games it's a classic. I mean, of course, it's about pretty much hacking. It's about video games. I mean, stuff that, like I said, stuff that happens in this movie will definitely work in today's world. Of course, Matthew Broderick was really good. You also had Alice Sheedy in this. I mean, if you guys never seen War Games, do yourself a favor, give War Games a go. It's an 80s classic. I mean, it's directed by John Badham. Matthew Broderick is of course good. Alice Sheedy, who doesn't love Alice Sheedy? Such a fun 80s. It's 80s pure sci-fi fun, All right, my number 2 favorite Matthew Broderick movie is The Lion King. The Lion King is an all-time animated classic. You got Matthew Broderick voicing adult Simba. Of course, Jonathan Taylor Thomas voices young Simba. Jeremy Irons as Scar. You also got Nate Delane in this, by the way. So Producers was pretty much a Lion King team up, like a Lion King reunion, I should say. Of course, James Earl Jones as Mufasa. I just love The Lion King. It's, of course, one of the greatest animated motion pictures of all time. Great music, great animation. Such a fantastic film. And, of course, I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the remake, which is going to, of course, have Donald Glover as Simba. So it'll be interesting to see how good Donald Glover do as the voice of Simba. I mean, it'll be interesting to see it compete with Matthew Broderick's Simba. But of course, no matter how amazing this Lion King movie is, it'll be hard to really top the original, to be honest, yeah. But yeah, Lion King is definitely the best. Alright, now my number 1 favorite Matthew Broderick movie is, it's a no shocker, it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I mean, I was going to pick either Lion King should be number 1 or Ferris Bueller, but I decided to go with Ferris Bueller. I mean, this was pretty much Matthew Broderick's breakout performance. It was directed by the great John Hughes. It's a really great teen comedy. I mean, there's some lines in this that, of course, was spoofed in today's world, especially the end credits scene of Ferris Bueller. I mean, if you guys remember the end credits scene in Deadpool, where Deadpool, came out in his robe and was telling people, the show's over, go home. That's literally a spoof of Ferris Bueller. That's kind of why that's my one of my favorite scenes in Deadpool. It would have been funnier if they had a Matthew Broderick cameo. That actually would have been funny. But anyway, Ferris Bueller is, of course, it's an 80s teen classic. You got besides Matthew Broderick, you also got Alan Ruck, Jennifer Grey, a couple years before she was in Dirty Dancing. Of course, you had Charlie Sheen. Jeffrey Jones was in this. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, for whatever reason, if you guys never seen Ferris Bueller, do yourself a favor, watch it on either Netflix, Google Play, watch it on TV. Watch Ferris Bueller. It's just an 80s classic. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Freshman. 9, Finding Amanda. 8, Godzilla. 7, Inspector Gadget. 6, Tower Heist. 5, Election. 4, The Producers. 3, War Games. 2, The Lion King. 1, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, there's a few other ones I could have added. Let me pull up the film credits. Of course, he was in Glory. That's a pretty decent film. Let's see. He was in Lady Hawk. He was in the movie Project X. Not to be confused with the Party movie. It was a like a 1987 sci-fi movie with a monkey. So, Cable Guy was pretty decent. The one with Jim Carrey, and that was directed by Ben Stiller. So he was also in Manchester by the Sea, which I kind of liked his little part in that. Deck the Halls with Danny DeVito. That's not a great movie, but it had some funny parts in it. The Stepford Wives with Nicole Kidman was pretty good. Biloxi Blues, not that great of a film. Addicted to Love wasn't all that great. Didn't care for Lion King 2. I mean, I love the first Lion King, but Lion King 2 was not all that great. Christmas Story Live was pretty decent. You Can Count on Me. That's a good little film. Max Duggan Returns. That's a classic. He had a part in Trainwreck. He was pretty good in Rules Don't Apply. The Last Shot was pretty decent. He was in Good Boys, Dirty Weekend, Margaret. Yeah, he's been in loads of good stuff. And he's been in some not so great stuff too, but that's a different topic for another time. Anyway, let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite Matthew Broderick movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L.